Hello students, this is Dr. Anjini, Assistant Professor in Biotechnology. Welcome to e-learning session in Plant, Cell and Tissue Culture. Today in this session, we learn about suspension culture. It is otherwise called as cell suspension culture. Cell suspension culture is the technique of culturing the tissues and cells in liquid nutrient medium. And when they grow, they produces suspension of single cells or the cell clumps. This is called cell suspension culture. Here what they do is the callus mass, that is friable in texture, is transferred to the liquid medium. So cell aggregates of the callus will be transferred to the liquid medium, and vessel is incubated on a rotary shaker in order to provide the aeration as well as the agitation. So this agitation will dissociate the cell clumps into smaller pieces. After few weeks, these cells will be subcultured into fresh media. Cell suspensions are also maintained by subculturing of cells in early growth phase. Because if the cell is at the aged stage or in the senescence stage or in the stationary phase, the multiplication of the cell in the fresh medium will be very difficult, or it may take too much time. To avoid that, you should select the cell which is there in the active growth phase and you inoculate into the fresh medium. And here the growth of the cell is much faster than the callus cultures. And hence they need to subculture more frequently and often in order to maintain the active growth. But when you inoculate the callus into the solid media, you'll find the heterogeneous growth of the cells. But in case of the cell suspension culture, we can get the cell in the homogeneous population. In solid media, when you grow the callus, the cells which are there in the vicinity of the media, which are there in the close contact with the media, suppose if you have the solid media in the flask and you have inoculated the callus, the cells which are there in contact with the media, they absorb more nutrient and they grow faster. But the cells which are distant from the media, they will get less nutrient, and due to which we'll find the heterogeneous growth. But in case of the suspension culture, as the cells are agitated and the cell clumps are broken into smaller pieces, all cells will be in contact with the media, due to which we will achieve the homogeneous population of the cell. And this system has an advantage that, and here you can continually adjust the nutrient concentration inside the ferment, inside the vessel where we are growing the cell. And in addition to that, we can scale up for the large scale production of the cells. And even somatic embryos can be cultured by using this suspension culture. And this suspension culture is classified into two types. One is batch culture and another one is continuous culture. The batch culture is the culturing of the cells in a finite volume of the media or the nutrient that is provided once in the vessel. Further, there is no provision of the media. But in case of the continuous culture, here there is intermittent supply of the nutrient takes place inside the vessel, and hence it is called as continuous culture. Batch culture in finite volume, whereas in continuous culture it is there is the intermittent supply or the continuous supply of the media takes place inside the vessel. So that is the difference between the batch culture and the continuous culture. In case of the batch culture, if you plot the cell growth with the time, initially the cells will prepare themselves and they show the constant absorbance, and they will be preparing the cell to undergo cell division. And initially there will be nutrient concentration will be very high, and due to which what will happen, the cells will start dividing, and when there is depletion in the nutrition, the cell will show the same absorbance. But prior to that, the cells will be actively growing. So that is called log phase. That is called log phase. But initially at the time zero, when we inoculate, the cells will not divide immediately. And that is called log phase. And lag phase, that is lag phase, where the cells are preparing themselves for the cell division. But after the cell proteins and enzymes and the nucleotides and other things are synthesized for cell to undergo cell division, the cell division will be initiated and cell number will be increased, and that phase we call it as the log phase. It is otherwise called log phase. The earlier one is lag phase. So this actively growing phase is log phase, and the initial preparative phase is lag phase. And later, when the nutrient is completely absent in the vessel, they will be viable, but they stop dividing, and such phase is called as the stationary phase. Since in the batch culture there is no further supplementation of the nutrient, cell will die and absorbance decreases. So this is sort of culture growth you will see in case of the batch culture. But in case of the continuous culture, if you plot the time with the absorbance, time on x-axis and absorbance on the y-axis, here also time was on the x-axis and the absorbance was on the y-axis. So initially in continuous culture, we put the nutrient, and in that we inoculate the culture. Soon after some time, we change the media. And this changing of the media will maintain the continuous growth phase of the cell, and cell will be in the exponential phase. So that is the difference between the batch culture cell growth pattern and the continuous cell growth pattern. Now we'll see the different type of the batch culture. So this batch culture will be done like slowly rotating culture, shake culture, spinning culture, and stirred culture. These are all the different types of batch culture. They differ from from each of them in one or the other factor. First, we'll take up the slowly rotating culture. In slowly rotating culture, it is having a specially designed flask. They are called as the nipple flask. And each nipple flask possesses 8 nipple-like projections. And the capacity of each flask is 250 ml. Capacity of each flask is 250 ml. So like that, the 10 flasks are loaded in a circular manner. 10 flasks are loaded in a circular manner on a large flat disc of vertical shaker. When this flat disc rotates, the culture inside the media will also move, and it will give the aeration to the growing cells. And the speed of the flat disc will be maintained at around 1 to 2 rpm, that is revolution per minute. So at this speed, when it rotates, the cell within each nipple of the flask are alternatively bathed in the culture medium, and they will be aerated. This is called slowly rotating culture. Next, we will move on to the next type of the batch culture, that is called shake culture. It's very simple and effective system of the suspension culture. In this method, what they do is the single cells or the cell aggregates in a fixed volume of the medium will be placed on the will be taken in the conical flask, and these conical flasks are fixed, are mounted with the help of the sample holder or clips on the surface of the horizontal large square plate on the rotary shaker, orbital shaker. So on which they will place the plate, and this plate will be having the sample holder or the clip to hold the conical flask. In the conical flask, we take the medium. And here, this square plate moves in a circular motion at a speed of around 60 to 180 rpm. So when it moves, the culture within the conical flask also rotate. This is called shake culture. Next one is the spinning culture. Here, the large volume of the media can be cultured with the cells or the callus. So around a 10-liter bottle will be taken, and the volume of the media will be more than the slowly rotating or the shaking culture. In the spinning culture, this vessel will be fixed at around 40 to 45-degree inclination, due to which what will happen, it will spin. So it will be spinning, and the spinning speed will be around 120 rpm. So this is one method of batch culture, where it is spinning the flask. Along with that, the culture will also spins and cells will be aerated. And here the volume of the media what we can inoculate will be more. Next, we will move on to the stirred culture. In stirred culture, the large scale of the batch culture can be done. In this method, the large culture vessel is not rotated, but the cell suspension which is taken inside the vessel is kept dispersed continuously by plunging the sterilized air inside the round bottomed flask. And along with that, there will be magnetic stirrer. So this magnetic stirrer will also move at the speed of around 200 to 600 rpm. And the volume of the media what we are taking will be more. We can take up to 5 to 10 liter. So sterile air is plunged inside, and there is magnetic stirrer that will give the agitation, and there is no movement of the platform, or the flask will not be moved. And this is called stirred culture. So by all the four types are the different methods of the batch culture, and they are classified based on their principle. Next, we'll move on to the continuous culture. As I told earlier, there is continuous supply of the nutrient inside the vessel where we are growing the cells. Based on that, there are two types. One is closed continuous system, and another one is open continuous system. In closed continuous system, mechanically they remove the used media or the spent, and they will fill the fresh media inside the vessel. That is called closed continuous system. The another one is open continuous system. Here the sensor will be there. So this sensor will sense the concentration of the essential nutrient, or else it will sense the turbidity of the media, and based on their signal, the used media will be removed. At the same time, same volume of the fresh media will be taken inside the vessel, culture vessel. That is called open continuous system. This open continuous system are of two types. One is chemostat and another one is turbidostat. Chemostat is a type of open continuous system. Here you have the vessel in which we are inoculating the cell, and this is the media reservoir where it will be sterilized and will be kept inside this media reservoir. And then there will be a inlet, or there will be option for inflow of the media, and at the same time there will be a outlet to remove the used or the old media. It's called spent. And this vessel will be provided with the magnetic stirrer. So this is a modified stirred batch system, and the magnetic stirrer will rotate the or it will rotate at the particular speed to maintain the aeration of the cell. And here in the chemostat, the sensor will sense the concentration of the essential nutrient. Concentration of the essential nutrient. At particular concentration of the essential nutrient or the limiting nutrient concentration, this is otherwise called as limiting nutrient concentration, the old media will be transferred to the collecting flask, and the same volume of the fresh media will be drawn inside the vessel through the inlet. Like this chemostat will measure the or it will sense the limiting nutrient concentration, and there will be removal of the spent and the drawing of the fresh media inside the vessel. This is called chemostat. Here, cells are maintained in a continuous exponential phase, and the production of the particular desired product or the protein can be achieved at higher concentration. Then another one is turbidostat. This is also an example for open continuous system. Here also there is intermittent supply of the nutrient inside the culture vessel. But here it's not like chemostat. Instead, the sensor will sense the turbidity of the media. We know when we sterilize the media, it will be very clear. But as soon as we grow the cell, there will be turbid nature of the media, due to which the absorbance increases. So that is the principle behind this turbidostat. Here the light source will be adjusted to the culture vessel, and when the light source pass to the culture vessel, depending on the particular turbidity sensed by the photocell, depending on the particular turbidity that is sensed by the photocell, that will send the signal to take up the fresh media inside the vessel. So this sensor, the photocell, will be programmed in such a way that when it attains the particular turbidity, it will draw the fresh media by removing the spent. By removing the spent. Since it senses the turbidity, it is called turbidostat. The earlier one, which senses the concentration of the essential chemical or the essential nutrient or the limiting substrate concentration, this is called chemostat. The another one is turbidostat, where there is removal of the spent and the drawing of the fresh media inside the vessel takes place depending on the specific turbidity that is sensed by the photocell. This is called turbidostat. So both the chemostat and the turbidostat are the two types of open continuous system of suspension culture. This is regarding different types of batch culture system and the continuous culture system. Next, we'll move on to the importance of the suspension culture. So this suspension culture is used in the production of the secondary metabolites. What are these secondary metabolites? These are the metabolites or the biomolecules. They are produced by the cells when the cells are exposed to the extreme environmental condition or the nutrient depletion, or it may be the absence of the aeration, or due to the deposition of certain toxic material inside the culture condition. The cell will produce certain biomolecules to overcome that extreme environmental condition. Such type of metabolites are called as secondary metabolites, and they are usually produced in very low concentration, but they're, they are having the pharmaceutical importance in the human life. Example, this suspension culture is used in the production of the chiconin. And this chiconin is having the pharmaceutical importance. And apart from that, this suspension culture is also used in the production of the alkaloids, non-protein amino acids, terpenoids, phenolics, etc. So such type of the metabolites can be produced by the cell using the suspension culture. So now you will be having the doubt. So what are these secondary metabolites? How they are different from the other metabolites which are essential for the cell growth? So the metabolites like amino acids or the biomolecules like amino acids or the sugars or nucleosides, all these are required by the cell for the normal growth and development. But these secondary metabolites are not required for the growth, but they are required for overcoming the extreme environmental condition. So such type of metabolites, they are produced in very low concentration, but they are having the pharmaceutical importance in the human life. The chiconin I told you, so this is used as antiseptic and also used as dye in cosmetic preparation. Dye in cosmetic preparation. Apart from this chiconin, this suspension culture is also used in production of secondary metabolites like taxol, berberin, etc. using this cell suspension culture. In this cell suspension culture, as I told earlier, all the cells will be in the homogeneous growth and will be useful for a production of the desired products or the desired compounds can be produced in controlled conditions, and it will affect the quality also. So the market demands can be met by using this suspension cultured products. Any cell of the plant could be manipulated to yield a specific type of the metabolite. And in addition to that, consistent product quality could be assured with the use of the characterized or standardized cell lines. And cell growth could be automatically controlled because everything will be under the control of us when we are growing the cells. And even the metabolic processes can be controlled and could be regulated. And this, some cell cultures have the capacity for the biotransformation of specific substrates to more valuable products, either by one or two enzyme activity that can also be practiced using this suspension culture. So these are the few importance of the suspension culture. But the same technique is having few limitations like high production cost is involved. In addition to that, lack of knowledge of certain pathways of biosynthetic pathways of compounds is major problem in improvement of their production. For example, secondary metabolite production, uh, any secondary metabolite, they are produced in very low concentration, and in production of such low concentration secondary metabolite require more than 5,000 genes, and the all these 5,000 genes will not be studied, and their regulatory pathways are entirely different from the primary metabolic pathways. Due to the lack of this knowledge, we fail in large scale production as well as the desired secondary metabolite production. And at the same time, these cultured plant cells are often unable to produce high value products. So these are few limitations of the cell suspension culture. So in this session, we learned what is cell suspension culture, types of cell suspension culture, along with that importance and limitations. I hope you understood this session. Thank you.